The argument being here that I'm seeing is that there was this allegation, and after that allegation, there are continuous messages between Cassie and Sean Combs where she never brings up the where she actually has consensual sex with Sean Combs. And what I saw is, because I know some of these dates are important, a movement towards November 15th, 2018, when we know that Kim Porter had died, and then the memorial that she had on November 24th, 2018, where Sean Combs says that Kim Porter was his soulmate, something that Cassie seemed to take to heart and really hurt her, and that seemed to be when the relationship really broke apart.
You wrote a letter about you for Diddy's character. And a lot of people were upset because they was like, you know, how could she do that after seeing the video with Cassie? A lot of people wanted to know why you decided to still write that letter.
I think I wrote a letter for a change man. I think that the man that I met and that I experienced was changed. I'm not gonna justify some bullshit or like support some if I felt like that person was a change. And I felt like the person that I met was changed. It was a different experience. So that's why I wrote the letter.
Probably heard that Marcellus Wiley, famous NFL star, had his wife file a restraining order against him. And she has also claimed that he raped her. Mind you, she claimed that he raped her more than once. And she even said that there are gaps in her memory because of the trauma that she's experienced. She alleges Marcellus raped her in 2012 and then tried to sleep with two of her friends the exact same day. 2025, he struck her with his shoes in the face. And then in January of this year, she stated he beat her and raped her not once, but twice in the same day. She was told she had to do exactly what he said. These are not the only issues that Marcellus has to contend with. While the 51-year-old is in jail, he's going to have to think about the fact that there are not one, not two, not three, but 4 women who have accused him of SA. And they accused him in April of this year. And even Big Tigger, his wife has filed a restraining order. A video was leaked, allegedly showing him beating her on camera. And Oprah had a podcast episode. She featured the author of No Visible Bruises, who cited that about 1 in 2 women have been victims at some level of domestic violence.
But it was a moment where I kind of had a realization of the depths of the situation where it is, because she was, you know, we were passionate seconds before, and then the next moment you could tell there was something that had come over her in a sense that she knew it may cause jealousy or something of the nature if her and I interacted in some way with him not there. So
you sensed a fear. You sensed a fear that came over her very quickly once he left the room, that there should be no conversation between you. Did it sound as though it seemed to you she was frightened?
That's why I use the term she's a badass lady. I wouldn't say frightened. I say she just understood the situation to the extent that she needed to. And that's why I'm sorry, like with her, I wouldn't say fear, you know, like it was mostly just she understood the situation. And
woman is a divine reflector, and she will reflect who you are, not who you want to be, but who you are. So if a woman is acting out of her character, if a woman is yelling and screaming, if a woman's demanding, you have to look in the mirror and check yourself.
I'm sure by now we're all familiar with Minister Yada and his message, which was basically the apple of, or at least half of the black community's eye for the last couple of years.
When you get paid,
praises,
and you paying 100%, what do you do for yourself?
Brother.
What do you do for yourself, brother?
Brother, when you have a wife, and you're taking care of this great woman, because you chose her.
Correct.
So you're going to choose a great wife. You're not going to choose a evil wife unless you're an evil man. I would rather you be single than to be in a home with a destructive man. Because your daughters will think the way he treats you is okay for a man to treat her. My wife doesn't spend her own money. My wife doesn't pay bills. My wife doesn't put gas in cars. My wife doesn't take trash out. My wife is my full investment, and I'm responsible for her. And when you're doing for this woman 100%, guess what this good, loving, nurturing woman gonna do for you? She gonna nurture you 100%. Now she's more softer, brother. Your food tastes better because it's filled with love. A woman's also a divine nurturer. She will nurture whatever you put on her. If it's financial, if it's mental, if it's spiritual. If you give her the devil, she's gonna give you hell. But if you give her peace, she's gonna give you heaven. A man that's not willing to heal, a man that's not willing to work through his trauma, a man that's not willing to become the best version of himself for his children don't deserve none. So all I'm saying is I understand your frustration because I know it's hard out here for men. I understand it. But you gotta become more stronger and more harder than your circumstances. I'm here to elevate this woman on each and every level because that's what divine masculine men do. We don't lead by force. We lead by kindness and calmness. All praises due, all praises due. So if one job isn't taking care of your family, get another one. And if that one doesn't take care of your family, get another one. And then tell your wife, this is the plan, baby. I'm gonna go hard for 2 years, 3 years, but this is the plan. And if we execute this, if you nurture this correctly with the knowledge and information that I give you, we'll be successful when we get out of this situation. Our women are our full-blown responsibilities, and a man that can't take care of a woman does not deserve one. Make sure she's happy, make sure she's provided for, make sure she's stress-free, make sure she's getting massages, make sure she's pampered. Your woman, your responsibility.
I'm sure in the next few days, there'll be a wide variety of people calling for the canceling of Minister Yada. I don't know if I'd cancel him until we at least get some facts on his case, but he does deserve criticism for his brazen simping. But at the end of the day, he is a man who was taking care of a woman and their kids together. And so for that, he deserves at least a little bit of respect. But that's respect he's not going to get from the black community.
A lot of you men say you want a submissive woman. But the problem is you're not willing to submit to something higher than yourself. So you don't deserve a submissive woman, because no good woman wants to be led by your ego, by your childhood trauma, by your insecurities. So if you want a submissive woman, you're going to have to be willing to submit to something higher than yourself. And let's be quite frank. If you look into any biblical text, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is, at no one point in that Bible or that religious text does it say you should go 50-50 with your woman.
Family, oh, praises. Okay, Zion, come back a little bit so let them see you. Man, boy, you look clean. Turn around. Hit him with the heel, hit him with the heel, son. We're introducing Teresia. Look at her, show the purse, beautiful. Oh, she looks absolutely amazing. Hit him with the heel, hit him with the heel. Amora, come on, baby girl. Let's back up a little bit, beautiful. Oh, look how beautiful she is. Show the purse. Oh, she looks amazing. Turn around, hit him with the heel. Hit him. Come on in, family. Everybody, come on in. You are looking at the Yada family. The queen is not here right now. Come on, we gotta get you two. Come on, man. No, that's okay.
What I find interesting with all of the talk about black men not being good fathers, and we don't raise our kids and we don't take care of our families, is that even if we don't like the message because he's pandering, that's what Yada is doing here. And as critical as we are of black men, at least we can give him credit for the fact that he takes good pride in raising his family. Now, I have to say the disclaimer because it's 2026 and you know how things are. In no way, shape, or form do I condone domestic violence. No person should be hitting any person in a domestic setting. No man should be hitting a woman. No woman should be hitting a man, period. No one should be hitting each other in a domestic setting, especially in front of kids. That said, all of the information we have is a video released by her, and the idea that he's some kind of demon that we were waiting to see him turn against that poor innocent woman. And now it's time for this man who was saying all of these things that many, 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 many black women supported. One day, all of a sudden, boom, you're the bad guy. No court date, no court filings, no police investigation, a video on the internet pointing a finger at this man. Cancel him. And the cycle continues.
She has a maid. She has a chef.
And she has a black eye. Yep. You forgot to tell us that part. But we've seen it now. Not only were you given massages and $250,000, you were giving Floyd Mayweather level straight right hands to this woman.
If he says he wants you, make him pay $50,000. And if he can't afford $50,000 up front, set up a payment plan. If he says, hello, what's your name? $50,000. Hey.
This is one thing that I'm so fearful of when it comes to social media. You see this black eye? Allegedly her husband, the $50,000 man that he was just talking, gave her that.
Men who beat women cannot be rehabilitated. I need everybody to say this with me in the comments. Men who beat women cannot be rehabilitated.
I think that the man that I met and that I experienced was changed.
I have been telling y'all for years that that man in all his performative ways was an abuser. Behind closed doors, I always knew that he was not treating that lady and that the brand that they were selling to the general public was a facade.
Something is very off-putting about a man that talks extremely too much, especially on camera. Especially if they're in a relationship and you're like the yapper and your wife is just quiet.
I'ma just call it for what it is. If daddy didn't tell you, if mommy didn't tell you, Queen Mother AY is going to tell you. Actually, if you look into the Bible and you look into Timothy, it says if you are not able to provide for yourself as a man, you have no business being with a woman.
Just sitting there quiet. You do all these things for your wife, so many things that she has all these kids for you, and you're telling me all she does is...
And if you were to never speak to Yada again, ever again, what would you tell him? What would be your last message?
That part's gonna make me cry. But I try everything, and in my heart, I love you. You will always be my best friend. But I have to choose myself, and I have to protect our babies. And I would much rather them have both parents alive than to one be in a hospital with something terminal or one of us not to be here. So I'm praying for you though. That's what I would say.
I know this is a very dangerous question to ask in this modern environment, but my logic can't avoid asking it, and it's the reason why a large number of men are starting to behave in a manner that's very different than we've seen men act in the past.
I don't go to clubs, I don't go to bars, I don't go to parties, I don't go to kickbacks, I don't go to none of that. Only time I'm going outside is to go get something to eat or if I'm going to work.
A question that you are seeing more and more young men asking themselves is, what is there to be gained in this interaction? And the other question is, what is there to be gained from dating me in said interaction? Now, again, I'm not condoning DV. I'm not saying that. But I would think, logically speaking, that if Cassie were in that situation in 2016, she would have left, and in 2016, the emails would have stopped. One would think that if there were this word out that Diddy was this guy that was just doing all these dastardly things to young ladies, why would another young lady come in right after and write a letter vouching for his changed character? I mean, besides the fact that he happens to be a billionaire. And then if you are a retired football player and all of a sudden you're getting accusations that you did terrible things to your wife 5, 10, 15 years ago, you're asking the question, what does she have to gain from taking my name into the public sphere and saying I did all of these negative things? Because if people see you and they're willing to think that you did all of these negative things, it's your job to clean up your image. It's not her job to say, I'm sorry. The point of this video is not to vouch for the character of Yada Awakens. As a matter of fact, many of us don't even agree with the message he puts out because many of us don't think that he's being honest. But that aside, we do have to understand that what he's dealing with now is basically a young lady on the internet crying who's basically turned public sentiment against him and the allegation that he struck her, but we don't have a police report. We don't have any lawyers saying anything. We don't have any press releases. All we have is ground swelling sentiment of young ladies saying, I knew he was a bad dude and I knew he was hurting that woman. But what they weren't talking about is, why didn't she leave between child 1 and child 2 or between child 2 and child 3? She stayed for 4 children, then all of a sudden she's leaving. I'm not saying that he's an angel. I don't know if he's an angel. That's my point. And I also don't know if his finances are as good as he may be pretending they are, which is a question that we'll probably have answered down the road. But any of us can end up being in his situation, and that's why this space is growing so quickly. There aren't any rules except say what you got to say and do what you got to do to get what you need or get what you want. Now, of course, I'm not saying that there is no DV. Of course there's domestic violence. And one thing we know about the black community is that domestic violence can go both ways. And it's not just physical domestic violence. It could be emotional or psychological. It could be in the middle of a fight. I'm going to go on the internet and say I'm going to cry and tell them that you did all these terrible things to me and no one's going to believe that you didn't do it. And if I cry really hard, you're going to lose your business tomorrow. What does a guy do to that? that is a new reality that we've never really considered, that the man is guilty until proven innocent, and especially when it's a black man. And so we don't have to like Yada. We don't have to like his message, but we do have to understand that as easy as it is to rise as someone in social media telling young ladies in the black community what they want to hear, you can be canceled very quickly with the snap of a finger. That's more reason to say, I'm going to avoid all of this and not even go to InvestFest or wherever the ladies are. You can argue with the logic or maybe even how it makes you feel, but what you can't argue with is why men aren't going to dating events. You wonder why? Because no man wants to be guilty until proven innocent. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care, guys.